The cruel paradox: temporary protection, permanent detention for Venezuelan TPS holders. The United States offers temporary protected status, TPS, as a lifeline to individuals fleeing dire circumstances in their home countries, providing a temporary reprieve from deportation. It's a recognition that returning them to danger is unacceptable. Yet, a chilling reality contradicts this humanitarian principle. Venezuelan TPS holders, despite the law explicitly stating they shall not be detained based solely on their immigration status, are being arrested and incarcerated by Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE. This blatant disregard for the law leaves hundreds of thousands vulnerable and casts a long shadow over the very purpose of TPS. Venezuela, currently gripped by a profound crisis orchestrated by President Nicolás Maduro's regime, epitomizes the need for TPS. Maduro's brutal crackdown on dissent, characterized by imprisonment, abuse, and widespread intimidation, has plunged the nation into desperate poverty. This oppressive atmosphere, coupled with the collapse of essential services, potable water, reliable electricity, and basic necessities, has forced nearly 8 million Venezuelans to flee their homeland. They are not merely seeking economic opportunities. They are escaping persecution and an environment where survival itself is a daily struggle. The sheer scale of the exodus underscores the severity of the Venezuelan crisis. Millions have sought refuge, many finding themselves in the United States, granted a precarious sense of security under the TPS designation. This protection, however, proves fragile in the face of arbitrary ICE enforcement. A federal judge recently issued a temporary injunction halting the Trump administration's attempt to terminate TPS for Venezuelans, a move that would have jeopardized the legal status of 350,000 individuals by April 7th. The judge recognized the potential for irreparable harm, citing the devastating consequences, economic disruption, public health risks, and the shattering of countless lives and families. This judicial intervention highlights the stark contrast between the administration's actions and the very principles TPS aims to uphold. Despite the judge's order, the Trump administration's preemptive arrests of Venezuelan TPS holders persist. Individuals are being detained in harsh ICE facilities across the country, in Virginia, New York, Texas, and New Mexico, for weeks, sometimes even months, with no apparent legal justification. Attorneys report numerous cases where the arrests defy the explicit legal protections afforded by TPS. The exceptions carved out in the law are exceedingly narrow, and in the countless cases reviewed by legal professionals, none meet those stringent criteria. One poignant example involves a Venezuelan man who was diligently complying with his ICE supervision requirements, attending regular check-ins. During one such routine visit in New Mexico, he was unexpectedly handcuffed and detained for 6 weeks. The ramifications were devastating. He lost his job, was separated from his partner, and felt pressured to accept deportation despite his legal right to remain in the U.S. This is not an isolated incident, but rather a pattern indicative of a systemically discriminatory approach to immigration enforcement. The targeting of Venezuelan TPS holders is not random. Zoe Bowman, an attorney at the Laws America's Immigrant Advocacy Center, highlights a disturbing trend. Venezuelan men are being painted as T-Day members, as dangerous gang members at the highest levels by President Trump himself, she explains. And so they're trying to show people that to them, it doesn't matter what kind of status you have, that they have the power to detain you anyways. This deliberate demonization fuels a climate of fear and undermines the legal protections intended to safeguard vulnerable individuals. The situation exposes a profound hypocrisy. The very purpose of TPS is to offer protection to those who cannot safely return home. Instead, these individuals face arbitrary detention, separation from families, job loss, and the constant threat of deportation. The legal framework designed to offer refuge is being weaponized to inflict further suffering. The narrative of "Make America Great Again" is starkly juxtaposed with the reality of this systematic violation of due process and human rights. The arrests are not only unlawful, they are cruel, inhumane, and a betrayal of the principles upon which TPS was founded. This is a crisis demanding immediate attention and systemic reform to ensure that the promise of temporary protection doesn't translate into permanent imprisonment. The fight for justice for Venezuelan TPS holders is not just a legal battle. It is a fight for basic human dignity and the integrity of the American legal system.